So we're in Orlando.
My girl is crazy. Just sitting at the street, at the corner, talking to herself. I mean, we have those.
A 2023 Camaro LT. This is basically the base model Camaro. It only has 275 horsepower coming from a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. This motor is used in a lot of other cars as well. I guess the most comparable motor to this one would be the Ford EcoBoost. Not
pathetic.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't be as bad paired to a manual transmission. 275 horsepower is still more than an FRS or other cars in this segment or category.
My car.
Exactly. But your car's is a V6, a 6-cylinder, a 3.8 liter one actually, sorry, not 3.6.
Yeah.
Which is much different than our, little 4-banger here. The paddle shifters are almost useless when driving this car. The car does have different mode options. As we can see here, we got Sport, Tour, and Snow and Ice, but we're gonna keep it in Sport because it is a sporty car. Let's see what this sportiness we can get from just a 4-banger.
In traffic.
The car is more responsive in regular drive than it is using the paddle shifters. I feel that the transmission is just not tuned properly. I guarantee if this has a tune available for it, it could shift faster, but I also don't know how old this transmission is. Looking at it, it does have 7 gears, so it can't be an old transmission, but the fuel economy is great because of that. So maybe if you just want a car that looks quick, does get fuel economy, and it's quicker than your typical Honda Civic or Hyundai Sonata or whatnot you would buy, right? So from that regard, it is a sporty coupe.
Yeah.
Honestly, we've done a bunch of kilometers on this car and we haven't even reached half a tank. So from the fuel economy perspective, it's pretty good. City driving's pretty decent. You don't really feel bumps. That is a long turning line. Thank you.
Was he nice?
Yes, he was.
Or did you just butt him? Oh, really?
Yeah, he was very nice.
Oh.
He was a fellow Chevrolet owner. Look at that. I think I also ran a red.
On camera, that's good. Good job. Yes, please break all the laws while we're recording.
Bro, I just have a nice...
You still look like a fool.
Yeah, I still look like a fool, but now I'm a fool without a head-mounted GoPro.
Yeah.
We were talking about this car. It drives pretty good. Its handling is good. I can't really complain. It doesn't really have enough power to slide you around a corner. Not that we tried in any regard. We tried to keep it nice and civil. But, under a little bit of gas and turning, it doesn't really slide or anything like that. It doesn't have enough power. It is an open diff. This is basically a base model car. Cloth seats. It does have automatic climate control. It does have CarPlay, which is a very, very nice feature. And, yeah, it has cruise control. It doesn't have any bigger safety things, like no blind spot detection. It doesn't have any lane keep assist or things like that. So, it is kind of going back to the raw sports car, yet it's an automatic, right? The sound isn't really great on this car, to be honest. It does have a sporty exhaust note, but it's not really that sporty. Like, it sounds like your typical turbocharged 4-cylinder.
Sounds pathetic.
It is very pathetic.
In my opinion. It's a Camaro, and it doesn't give Camaro vibes.
Other than the looks,
yeah,
it's all show no go,
yeah,
in a sense,
yeah,
right? Transmission doesn't shift fast. Even in sport mode, you'd expect at least maybe some burbles or something like that.
Yeah.
My Infiniti with a rusted through exhaust has more burbles in this car.
My Honda sounds amazing, and the exhaust fell off right before we left for Florida. It sounds better than this.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't sound clean, but it's louder at least.
Yeah, this is extremely quiet.
Yeah,
there has
muscle
been
car. Like, that doesn't make sense.
There's been 5 instances of me forgetting to turn off the car, and when I got out, I only felt the exhaust pipes having heat, and that's when I decided, oh, the car's still on. No noise, no nothing. Typically, like my Jetta or other cars, you can hear that it's on, right? This car, you can't even hear it's on. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe your grandpa wants to have a Camaro again. Maybe this is what that market is made for. But we look at it again, and then we can realize why the Camaro has been, taken out, off of the market. Like, they got rid of the Camaro completely. Could be sales, could be other things. Rather than giving a facelift, maybe they didn't want to electrify it or anything like that. So they just got rid of it completely.
Yeah.
for something that's supposed to be a sporty coupe.
Yeah, I think Camaro, I think power, speed, loud. You know, something that would upset your neighbors. Yeah. But this, it reminds me of a Tesla. It's like, I mean, yeah, you still hear it a little bit.
But it sounds like I'm flooring a 2-liter turbo Hyundai Sonata.
You get more noise out of a Honda Civic.
Yeah.
Like
an SI or even a Civic Sport hatch will have more noise.
Yeah, it's just not, it's not up to par when we thought Camaro. You know, Camaro was known for big, powerful. This is not that.
The competitor of the Ford Mustang, right? And now there is no competitor to the Ford Mustang because it's just the Mustang. If we really think about it, the Challenger is gone, the Charger is gone, the Camaro is gone. So the only pony car left is the Ford Mustang.
Yeah.
So clearly the Mustang has beaten out all these cars. Talking about the interior, it is quite tight in here, actually. I guess since we went from a Polestar to this, it was a big space downgrade in regards to that, because there's not a lot of space. The trunk isn't huge. We were able to fit our big luggage and 2 small luggages in the trunk, but then our backpacks have to go in the back. So even as 2 travelers with just 1 checked baggage and 2 carry-ons, it is quite tight in here. We had our model Logan in the back before, and Tony had to have his seat pretty far forward to actually give her some space. Then quality is nothing too bad. It is a little bit of hard and soft touch plastic. A lot of hard plastic though. It has like leatherette on the sides, leather wrapped steering wheel. It does have plastic paddle shifters. Puddle shifters. Yeah.
Puddle shifters?
Puddle shifters. Yeah, it's basically like shifting in a puddle. Yeah, it's pretty plasticky. It does have CarPlay. I get why the screen is facing downwards. It's so sunlight doesn't get into it, but it still has that weird angle of seeing it and viewing it. So not the biggest fan of that.
We did turn on the music for a bit.
There's no sub in the back, which is what we noticed. Which on a coupe, you'd probably want to have cool tunes and stuff like that. The audio isn't bad. It's decent. You know what? Like when you're buying a car in this price range or category, you'd expect a little bit nicer, even though it is a base model. And I bet with the higher trim levels, like if you get an SS, ZL1, blah, 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 it'll have better features and options. But as a base, what, in the $30,000 range, you'd expect something a little bit nicer.
Red light camera reported ahead.
Having Waze is super nice. That's one thing I will say.
Yeah, it does have Apple Play, which is cool.
And Android Auto too.
Oh, does it?
It does.
Oh,
yeah.
Both.
Both.
Wow. For him and her.
Yes. His and hers. His and hers.
Yeah. How dare you? Yeah.
Brakes are great. Tony knows.
God.
I brake pretty aggressively, so surprisingly I don't go through many sets of brake pads, but Tony thinks that I would go through a set of brakes within 5 days.
It's definitely responsive, the brakes. There's no delay, there's no lag, and there's no slip, which is weird because it's rear wheel drive, so you would think there would be a little bit of slip. There's not. She grabs really well.
It does grab really well.
We haven't really pushed it though. That's the thing. Like we tried pushing it, but I feel like she doesn't want to be pushed, and that's why it's like it's not slipping, it's not sliding, it's not. I mean, we haven't aggressively done anything, but
yeah, this is very true.
It's not too late.
But on the topic of brakes and the power, right? Brakes are great, power isn't. This goes back to the Christmas special. All brakes, no gas.
All my wheels are always covered in brake dust because I'm always on them brakes.
All brakes, no gas.
All brakes, no gas. I only slow down. I don't speed up.
So
all
Hona,
brakes, no gas.
Hona, this car is just for you. I'll know if you see this video because you'll say, "Where's my Camaro?"
Yeah. It's I think because they're designing things to be made for fuel efficiency these days that this thing is really a
It doesn't have auto start stop, which is very cool. It's an extremely annoying feature in newer cars. This doesn't have it. So it's quite nice to have a car that doesn't have start stop. What I will say though is, you know, I do like it, but I wouldn't view it as a Camaro, right? When I think of a Camaro, it's a great daily driver.
Yeah.
But who buys a Camaro as a daily driver?
I wouldn't pay this much for this car because it's not sporty, very. It's not really fun. Honestly, it's just kind of lame to me.
Yeah.
But that's because it's a base model. I think if you want something more exciting, more fun, you have to get something a little more amped up.
Like, I have already done the comparison. The EcoBoost makes more power. The EcoBoost transmission's a bit more intuitive.
Yeah.
So it's hard to see why someone would pick one of these over a Mustang, where at least you have a little bit more power, a bit more responsive, and the size and the specs have to be similar. The only downside is you're driving a Ford. We've talked about the interior, we've talked about the overall look, feel of the car. I think we should give it some sort of score from, I don't know, call it just an Alex and Tony score. AC score. Air conditioning score.
An
air conditioning score that has
HVAC score.
HVAC score, there we go. Our HVAC score for this car is, you know what, looking at it, it looks good. It does have more than 200 horsepower. For me, 200 horsepower is like the bottom, right? So 275 is a decent amount of power, right, for a daily driver, especially if you're looking just for a daily driver that's fuel efficient and stuff like that. The comfort inside, there's a little bit of wind noise. The Polestar was extremely quiet compared.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of quieter cars. It's probably quieter than a BRZ is, because I'd say a BRZ is probably a little bit louder than this, and you'd be probably looking at the same segment between a BRZ and a base model Camaro.
Yeah.
I'd give this car probably a 6. I would own one, but it wouldn't be my first choice, right? I'd obviously look at other cars, but if I own one, it wouldn't be the end of the world, because it has enough power. It's still a Camaro. It's still an enthusiast car, right? So I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10. What about you, Tony?
6. Yeah, 100%. Same thing. But like, if I had this Camaro money, I wouldn't spend it on this Camaro.
No.
You know, if somebody gifted me this Camaro, sure, I'd be happy about it. I'd be excited. I'd probably sell it. But you know, it's definitely not my vibe, because when I go for muscle car or you know, Camaro, I want something exciting, and this just doesn't give that exciting. I mean, let's be honest, I haven't driven it, but just being the passenger, I don't fear for my life. And when you're in a muscle car, or you're in a car that's supposed to be exciting, you fear for your life a little bit in the passenger seat. And I just do not. I can't feel the excitement.
No.
So yeah, 6 out of 10, because it's comfortable, it's quick, and it's like what Alex said, it's a commuter car. So 6 out of 10 all around. That's our HVAC AC score.
Yeah, right. So as a daily driver, a great car. Weekend car, fun car. Maybe buy a used Cayman or something like that.
Yeah, maybe. If you're gonna be in this bracket of rental cars, just pay a little more and go up there. You know, get something exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this just, it's not it.
This isn't cut it.
Anyway, 6 out of 10.
I think that's where we can conclude, and we'll see what our next car review or rental car will be.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully we can get that V8
Challenger or even a Camaro SS and do a comparison from that.
Yeah, that'd be great. I wouldn't mind getting into a nice Mustang.
Terminal A
I like Ford Mustangs. We've made it to the end of our trip rental-wise with the Camaro. We'll see if we could trade it in, but
thank you for watching.
Thanks
Hopefully
for
our
watching.
review was somewhat decent for you guys.
Yeah.
But I think the conclusion is I'd rather rent this than something extremely boring. But if I can rent a Hemi, I think I'd rather go for that Hemi and go from there.
Yeah.
We'll see you in the next review.
I'm not sure that.
Remember, Parts Avatar has got your back, so don't forget to subscribe to the Parts Avatar channel so you don't miss any of these exciting videos.